Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this awesome modern house. It's really easy to make, it looks great, it's very spacious, and it comes with its own pool. What more could you want? If you like this video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. I really would. And honestly, that's pretty much all I have to say. Why don't I actually show you how to make this thing? So, if you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some block of quartz, some quartz stairs, some quartz slabs, some oak wood planks, grey concrete, blue stained glass pane, grass blocks, oak fence, and some torches. We also need all of the other materials that you can see in the inventory right now, although most of those are pretty much just cosmetic. They're not 100% required, but these ones are. So once you have all of that stuff, and once you've figured out where you want to be making it, I'll be making mine right here. Well, you want to start off this build with a row of 5 block of quartz coming directly up from the ground. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You want to take that 5th block, and you want to go back from it that away by 8. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go to the right of that 8th block by 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You then want to go behind that block by 11. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shoot back to the front. So this is back to the front of the house where we started. And we want to take this block right here, the 4th quartz block, and we want to go left of it by 11. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we want to do 2 things here. So first of all, we want to go up by 5. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we also want to go back from that 11th block. We want to move back from it. And we want to connect it backwards and to the other side of the build, if that makes sense. So we want to be able to connect one side of the build to the other using a right angle such as this. That's what I'm talking about. And by the way, it might be a good idea now to completely fill in this big flat surface using your block of quartz. You see, the reason for this is a lot of this is going to be outside area. It's going to be just basically the 2nd floor of the house. The house has 3 floors, it has a ground floor, it has this, well, I guess 1st floor. If we have a ground floor, it goes ground 1, and then we have a 2nd floor up top. But there are 3 levels. This is the middle one, and this is going to be the area that you walk around on. And this is actually the area, if you saw the house at the start of the video, this is the area where the stairs take you to. Just on the right hand side of the house, just in case you don't quite fancy climbing up some stairs on the inside of the house or up some ladders or what have you. You can bypass the 1st floor and go all the way up to the 2nd floor. Anybody else get confused when you start talking about ground floors, 1st floors, 2nd floors instead of just like 1, 2, and 3? This is the 2nd floor that we're working on. The 1st one is the bottom, the 3rd one is the top, just to clarify things a little bit. But the point of the matter is, it's easier if you fill this in using your block of quartz because it's just better that it is a solid surface. Anyway, now that that has been completely filled in, we can work on some detail. So, you remember this row of 5 block of quartz that we placed earlier? Well, what we want to do is we want to take this row of 5 block of quartz and we want to do 2 things with it. So, we want to take this 5th block and we want to extend it to the right by 11. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We want to move back by 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We then want to move to the right by 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and you should find that you have actually went along with the shape of the lower level of quartz. We then want to extend this block backwards, and we want to follow the shape that we've just made. So we just want to take the shape that we've just made, and we want to follow it along, if that makes sense. So we want the exact same shape that we've got before, except it wants to be a few rows above, like this. And once again, we're going to fill it in a little bit. So we're going to fill in the sides of this shape. We want to fill in the very left-hand side of this shape. We're going to completely fill it in. And we want to fill in the back of this shape as well. And we'll even fill in the top. So just to give you guys a bit of perspective like this, we want to completely fill in the back like this. We want to connect it upwards. We want to fill in the back and the left hand side, and the front and right hand side parts are going to be open, and that is where we have the grey concrete and the glass, and it makes a really nice combination. You see, a lot of the problems that I have with certain modern houses is that there's just a bit too much windows, which is to be expected because it is a modern house, but I think that there needs to be a little bit of a balance. You don't always need an insane amount of windows just because it's modern. I think that it's important to use solid space every now and again. So you can see those are the areas that we want to fill in with quartz. Now, once you've got that sorted, we also do want to fill in the top, and this is going to be where the third floor of the actual house lies. This is going to be where the third floor is, all the way up at the top here, and we are going to actually, you know what we'll do? We'll work our way down. Once we've completely filled the top of this in, we'll do the third floor, we'll drop down to the second, and then we'll take care of the first floor, because they all have to be done. Why don't we do it in reverse order? Typically, I like to work my way from the bottom, go all the way up to the top, but why not do the reverse, just for the fun of it? It's all pretty easy stuff. I'm sure that you guys will be able to manage all of this, and once we've done it, well, it'll all be done, and it doesn't really matter which order we tackled it in. I'm really realizing that this is a massive shape that we have to fill in. It's absolutely huge. The inside of this house is actually quite a lot bigger than quite a few of my other modern house builds, and I think that's definitely a good thing, because whilst I do like really small, detailed, intricate modern houses, it is also nice to have modern houses that you can actually use the space inside of, which it makes a nice change, honestly. We've almost filled in the entire thing here. We are lacking a little bit just at the front, but once we've got this taken care of, we can move on to the next bit. So we want to have something which should look exactly like this. It's a really weird shape, isn't it? Well, it's going to look better once we tackle the next bit. So we want to come all the way up to the very top, back, left-hand side of the build. You're looking for this sort of area right here in the back corner. You want to take this back corner block and you want to move inwards diagonally. So on top of this block right here, you want to place a row of 4 grey concrete coming upwards. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Move that 4th block forwards by 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And connect it downwards like this. So we now want to take those 4th blocks and those 8th blocks, and we want to extend them across the back of the build by 16 using our grey concrete. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we want to connect that 16th block downwards. We also want to do the same with that row of 4 that we started off with, and we will also connect that downwards as well. So we want to create a shape which should look very much similar to this. Now, starting on the front of the shape, we have to divide this shape up a little bit, because it's a bit boring to have just one big open window. So what we're going to do is we're going to place in between the 2 rows of grey concrete, we're going to do this pattern of blocks, right? We're going to do 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, grey concrete. 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, grey concrete. We're actually going to place 3 oak planks, 1, 2, 3, grey concrete. free glass. 1, 2, 3. And what we're going to do is we are going to extend up every single grey concrete, and we are going to place glass pane absolutely everywhere inside of those grey concrete areas. Everywhere that you've placed glass before, you want to place it again. I'm sure that you guys will be able to crack on with that without too much issue. And you also want to fill in the area that you place oak wood planks. You want to fill in that area with oak wood planks as well. Extend the row of oak wood planks forwards to make it a bit more 3D, and extend the row upwards by 1. So you want to have something which should look like that. It's very nice looking, and we're actually going to emulate that on the back of the build also. So on the back of the build, we want to copy what we have on the front. So it's free glass, grey concrete, free oak, grey concrete, free glass, grey concrete, free glass. I might have done that fast. Look directly forward at your own build and you'll be able to take as much time as you like, because it is, of course, just directly the same. So I copied the front of my build. I'm sure that you guys would be able to copy the front of yours, assuming, of course, that you did manage to make that particular part of the house. So like this, and we want to extend the oak backwards as well, out of the back and up 1. So like that, same as we have on the opposite side. On the sides, this side, the left-hand side, we're going to split the build up the middle, and we're going to place glass in between. So we're going to split the build up the middle, and we're going to place glass in the empty spaces like this. We're going to come to the opposite side here, and we're going to have a way to exit out onto the balcony. And you know what, it might even make sense to kind of like have like a balcony entrance on this left hand side, because this is of course a balcony. Maybe just 2 like broken panes look quite nice like that. I sometimes don't like to place doorways, but we'll place a doorway on this side. And a good looking modern doorway usually almost always works if you have 2 oak wood plank rows like this sticking out of the build. Fill the sides of them in using glass pane like this. Like that. Extend the oak wood planks outwards. Place quartz slab at the top, connecting together the rows of planks, and place a little bit of pane in there. Then you'll get a nice little effect for a doorway, or just have it built into the actual door itself like that, and it will also look perfectly fine. It's up to you. These are options. There is a roof up here, so we want to place a row of block of quartz on top of the row of grey concrete. So we want block of quartz on top of the row of grey concrete going around in a rectangular fashion like this. And with what you fill in the center of this, it's up to you. So if you want to fill the center of this in using glass, feel free to use glass, because I always like to use glass roofs, and the reason why, it's very, very simple stuff. I like to use glass roofs because it lets in a lot of light. You're probably not going to be seeing the inside of the roof itself anyway. Like, you're not going to be seeing the roof, and you're not, even if it was just glass, unless you wanted to place something on top of it, then it's no big deal that the roof is glass. I'm going to use quartz in this particular instance because I don't have the blocks on me, but glass blocks would make an excellent choice. We're going to extend the block of quartz outwards in every direction. So we'll extend the block of quartz outwards in every direction. This is to make the roof not flat, because that is the last thing that we want to do. We don't want to make it flat, and it will also give it a little bit of character. Speaking of character, we're going to extend the front and right hand sides of the roof. The reason for this is because we have the oak wood planks on the front of the house, and we want it to extend outwards just a little bit like this. It's more than fine, by the way, to add an additional row on the back and the opposite side as well. It's just that now the roof is overhanging the house if you do it on those particular sides. So it is completely up to you whether you want to do that. It doesn't matter if you do, it doesn't matter if you don't. There's a quartz block ledge that we are going to add to the second floor of the house. So the ledge begins here, it comes out of the side here with a row of block of quartz, and it goes all the way around. This is to stop you kind of like walking around the top of the build, although you can still do it anyway if you so choose. But it's basically just to kind of like, it's a nice little wall to kind of stop anyone from jumping off the side of the building, which I'm hoping people aren't doing, but you know, people, sometimes it happens. Anyway, that is the top pretty much taken care of. We'll furnish it a little bit later. So let's talk about the middle of the build, the second floor. So on the second floor, come all the way over to the left-hand side, right? You want to find specifically this row of block of quartz here. So on the left-hand side, you have this vertical row of block of quartz. You want to move inwards by, it's not this first row, it's not this second row, it's this third row. You want to place a row of grey concrete connecting the top to the bottom. And you want to take that top grey concrete and you want to extend it to the right by 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And extend it backwards by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And extend it to the right by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was the longest 3 in my life. And we're going to now extend it backwards towards that back wall so that it all connects together. Now, the reason that we've done that is so that we can now extend the corners downwards. So anywhere that you have a grey block that touches more than one grey block, like this corner one, touches that one and that one, extend it downwards. Also this one, this corner block, touches more than one grey block, extend it downwards. You guys get the idea. Every single grey block pretty much touches 2 grey blocks, but you get the idea. It's the corners that want extending down and the ends as well. So that's probably a bad way to explain it, but I'm sure that you guys will manage to do it no problem. We now want to add glass in here, and the best way to add glass is basically, it's this same pattern again, right? So we're going to start on the left, and we're going to move right, and we're going to move around the house, and we're going to place 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, grey concrete. 3 glass, move around, we have grey concrete already, 3 glass, grey concrete, move around, 3 glass, grey concrete, 3 glass, grey concrete, etc., etc., until you eventually reach the opposite side. And as a matter of fact, once again, this is kind of supposed to be an entranceway, so maybe what we'll do is we'll have the same entrance that we do up above. So we'll just place 2 vertical rows of oak wood, we'll place a blue stained glass pane in the middle instead, and that will split up that'll basically just give us an entranceway instead of just like a, I mean, it depends how boring you think the glass entrance is. I kind of like just having empty panes of glass to walk in and out of. I kind of like how it looks. You might not, so it is up to you whether you want to create a doorway like I have, or whether you simply want to knock out some glass and have people walk in and out. I kind of like the glass for another reason, by the way. For another reason that I like the glass is because I kind of like the ambiguous nature of it. Like, when you look at the glass, like, you're like, is that an entrance? Is that an exit? Is that a giraffe? I don't know. So that's why I kind of like it. But it's up to you whether you want to have that or whether you don't want to have that. But that is the second floor done. And as a little bit of a finishing touch, on the right hand side here of the house where we have this second floor, we're going to have a set of quartz stairs which take us down to the ground, because we can access the second floor without ever going onto the first floor, which is a nice little preference of mine. So you can easily add in some stairs like this, and you can see that the build is shaping up very nicely. Honestly, it's a pretty good looking build if I do say so myself. Anyway, what we're going to be doing next. So now we want to come all the way down to the lowest part of the house, and we want to come to this back corner. It's once again the back corner, guys. Everything goes down here. We want to take this grey concrete. Oh, we want to take this corner block of quartz. We want to move in diagonally here, and we want to place a row of grey concrete connecting that diagonal down to the ground. We want to extend that top row of grey concrete across the back of the house by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Connect that down. We want to take that 12th block and we want to extend it forwards by 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Connect that 9th block down to the ground. Take that 9th block and you want to extend it inwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you want to extend that forwards. You want to extend it forwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 until it touches diagonally with this block of quartz. You then want to extend it over to the left by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9. That is so that it matches up with the row of grey concrete that we have on the back. You can connect it down to the ground if you very well choose to, and then you can extend it coming backwards until it connects all the way back to where we just were, like this. We're going to fill in the rows of grey concrete. So we're going to fill in this left-hand side row of grey concrete with grey concrete. I know, incredibly original. And we're also going to fill the front in with grey concrete as well. The front of this is going to be filled in with grey concrete. Like, oh, yeah, like that. We want to take this row of grey concrete, we want to extend it backwards, and we want to connect it to this row of grey concrete like this to form a solid wall. And we're going to fill this in with grey concrete also. And that's actually it. So, you know, luckily we're kind of done with that. But we are going to cover up this wall a little bit with block of quartz. What we're going to do is we're going to take this bottom row of block of quartz, we're going to extend it backwards so it hits the wall, and we're going to add 2 rows of block of quartz on top of that. So that's going to be 1 and 2, and it's going to leave just 1 row of grey concrete exposed, and it looks cool. Is the reason for that. So you want to have something which should look like this. The main entrance to the house is situated right here, so it's kind of up to you how you want to fill it in. If you want to create kind of like an entranceway like we have done all along, kind of just like, oh, we're going to need a double door. If you want to create an entranceway like we kind of have all along, with just rows of oak wood with a little bit of glass on top, that's a very simplistic entrance. It looks great. There's no reason not to have one. Then it's up to you. Or if you want to have a door, you can add a door. If you want to add this, add that. You guys get the idea. Fill it in a way that is pleasing to you. And this back wall, we're going to completely fill in using our glass. So this back wall will be completely glass, and I'll show you why the other 2 rows are not glass. So once you have filled in those sides, we should be left with something that should look very much like that, which is an impressive looking build. If I do say so myself, it does look quite good. Okay, so what are we missing? So we're missing a couple of things here. If you want, and this isn't required by the way, you don't have to add this because the house looks great without it. I'm actually looking at this and I'm like, damn, that's a nice house. On the original, the reason that this is grey and the side is grey is because I built up mounds of grass or mounds of dirt. It depends what you have access to. I built up mounds of dirt to kind of like build it in to the hillside a little bit. And the dirt stops right about here, like where we have the glass. And we just build up mounds and mounds of grass like this, just to make it look a bit more mountainy. And what else do I tell you? That's why we've done it. That's why I did it on the original. You can add it if you want. You can not if you don't want to. It's completely up to you. But I'm going to add it just so that you guys can see the contrast between it. Now, you've seen it without. I mean, you're looking at yours, I imagine, right? You're looking at yours, then look at mine. Then look at yours, then look at... Okay, you guys get the idea. So you want to be able to see what this looks like with and without the grass. This is the version with it. It'd probably take a little bit more time to get it perfect than what I'm doing now, because landscaping is a very tedious and irritating process. Honestly, I'm not a great fan of it, but you know, if you want, you can add a little bit of a dirt mound to it to give it a bit more character. Up to you, food for thought. You can also choose to add a pool. So adding a pool to the front of the house is actually not a bad idea. If you extend, I mean, if you just cut out like a random rectangular area in the front right hand corner of the house, something like this, make it so that you can walk around the house, make it so that it's not joined to it. Like an area like this would be great. And then if you use maybe, so I think sticking to quartz is a good idea for the outline of the pool, just because it stands out so well in contrast to the grass. But it's kind of up to you whether you want to add that or not. That's a good spot for a pool. It's not joined to the house, so it doesn't blend into the house as such. And it is also going to provide another color. It's going to be blue. Blue's quite important because we already have some of it, so it does go together very nicely with our current glass, because you guys might have noticed I choose to use blue glass a lot with these builds, just because the certain combination of oak, quartz and grey, it just pops a nice little bit with the blue glass, like in a way that the white and the black and the grey and stuff doesn't. So, I mean, the pool does enhance the build a little bit, I think, or in your particular case, it might take it away. An area that you may want to add to your house is an outdoor patio area. I sound so old. Basically, if you cut out an area in front of your like front door-ish entrance like this, and if you fill it in, so like if you cut out an area like this, once again, like try not to touch the doors and stuff. I think that's a mistake that I made with the original. I kind of like having it separate because then the house doesn't necessarily blend in so much. Like everything's very separate then. Like a nice little area like this might be nice, and if you add in some like maybe like a nice big seating area, maybe like, let me see. What can I do here? Maybe like a nice big seat like this with some quartz stairs. Maybe get a little bit of lighting in there. I'm a fan of the magma blocks for lighting because I live on the dangerous side. I'm going to place some quartz slabs going around the magma like that. Nice little area. Easy to add a little bit of lighting to. Always a fan of the tiki torches. Always love them. Oakwood fence with the torch on the corner. You can do that on every single side. Doesn't look incredibly modern, but you know, I like the look of it regardless, and it does light up that under area a little bit. That's something you might want to add. That is something you may want to subtract. That's completely up to you. And I kind of like. Okay, so I'm looking at it, right? Yeah, I'm looking at it, and I'm wondering, do I really want to fill in the center of it with oak wood, or do I kind of want to leave it like that? I kind of like the look of it just being kind of open a little bit. I kind of like that. We can, you know what? We can even add. Now this might add or subtract to this, but I'm gonna add wooden trapdoors, and I'm gonna add a flower pot onto the back corners of it. Now those aren't 100% necessary. There's no need for that. But let's see how it looks. I mean, it adds a little bit of color, but I think it actually distracts a little bit from the house. But anyway, that guys, that's the house. I mean, there are things that you can add to it. Okay. So these are more things. So whether you want to add this or not, again, it's up to you. Up top here, I kind of have some sunbeds. So these are quartz stairs. They're quartz slab. We use a little bit of end rod for this. I apologize, end rod. Some red beds, or any color beds you want, by the way, and we can get cracking. So place a quartz stairs somewhere with a couple of quartz slabs in front. Place going right of the stair, leave a gap of 1, place 2 end rods coming up from the ground, like that. Then place quartz slabs going all the way around the top of the end rods, like this, in a square fashion. Then place beds going all the way around the top of the end rods. And then you can just stick like a quartz slab coming out of the top, or a red block, or I mean, like the red concrete would actually work very nicely too, like this. Red concrete would look very nice, like this, and maybe even like a button on top of that might even look a little bit nicer. And that is a cool option that you might want to add. But once again, sometimes these things detract from the house. Sometimes they don't have the necessary desired effect. It depends what you want to add to the house. It really does. Add more of those, add less of those. I think I'm actually going to remove a little bit of what I've made. I'm keeping the pool, I think, but I might remove the seating area, or at the very least the trapdoors and the flower pots, and I might also remove the parasol, or at least for the thumbnail. It's kind of cool to have a little bit of detail, but it kind of takes away from the house, I think. But it's up to you. That's personal preference. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. I really would. If you have enjoyed the video, like that video. I'd appreciate that no end. Subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy the videos. Click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to the sub box, because you guys want that. I know you do. And if you do enjoy all my stuff, leave me a comment. Let me know what you want to see next. I am thinking about doing some more modern houses because I love these things. I've been building a lot of them recently, and honestly, I'm having a great time. I really am. And on top of all that, guys, if you wouldn't mind checking out the card system in the description below, we've got a lot more modern and a lot more weird builds in the background. Got some survival bases, got some survival bases, and We've got some water slides and some classrooms and more. We've got all sorts of weird stuff on the channel, guys. Check it all out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.